Так. Все, запис пішов. Тому вітаю.
Чекайте, пані Наталя, це трансляція ще запускається. Можете починати.
Так, всіх вітаю. Доброго дня, шановні колеги, шановні пани аспірантко. Сьогодні 18 січня 2024 року, 12:30. Так, дозвольте мені, як голові, розпочати засідання. Відповідно до рішення вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету номер 5 від 17 жовтня 2023 року та наказом ректора номер 626К від 13.11.2023 року в Сумському національному аграрному університеті утворено спеціалізовану вчену раду для прийняття до розгляду та проведення разового захисту дисертації Мао Жун на тему Management of Social Economic Development of the Enterprises Personnel та українською управління соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу підприємств на здобуття ступеню доктора філософії в галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Склад спеціалізованої вченої ради. Голова ради Стоянець Наталія Валерівна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Рецензенти: Кліцова Наталія Володимирівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри міжнародних відносин, Сумський національний аграрний університет. Могильна Людмила Миколаївна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент кафедри менеджменту імені професора Любові Івановни Михайлової, Сумський національний аграрний університет, та офіційні опоненти: Козак Катерина Богданівна, доктор економічних наук, професор кафедри менеджменту і логістики, Одеський національний технологічний університет, Шестакова Анна Валерівна, кандидат економічних наук, доцент, голова циклової комісії фінансово-економічних дисциплін відокремленого структурного підрозділу Житомирський технологічний фаховий коледж Київського національного університету будівництва і архітектури. Посади членів спеціалізованої вченої ради вказані на дати захисту дисертаційної роботи. Прошу зареєструватися, шановні рецензенти та опоненти. Так, бачу, зареєструвалися, продовжую. Отже, на підставі реєстраційної картки присутні 5 членів спеціалізованої вченої ради із 5 затверджених наказом ректора номер 626К від 13.11.2023 року. Кворум необхідний для засідання є, і ми маємо всі офіційні підстави для того, щоб розпочати засідання. Засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради оголошую відкритим. Сьогодні на порядку денному захист дисертації на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії, аспірантки кафедри менеджменту імені професора Михайлової Сумського національного аграрного університету Мао Жун на тему Management of Social Economic Development of Enterprises Personnel, управління соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу підприємства за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Роботу виконано в Сумському національному аграрному університеті, науковий керівник, кандидат економічних наук, доцент Харченко Тетяна Миколаївна. До спеціалізованої вченої ради надійшли такі документи: заява щодо проведення атестації здобувача, копія першої сторінки паспорта громадянки Китайської Народної Республіки, копія диплома магістра, витяг з наказу про зарахування до аспірантури, засвідчений в встановленому порядку, академічна довідка про виконання відповідної освітньо-наукової програми, висновок наукового керівника, кандидата економічних наук, доцента Харченка Тетяни Миколаївни, висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення результатів дисертації, дисертація в друкованому та електронних виглядах, відбитки копій наукових публікацій, зарахованих за темою дисертації, засвідчені в встановленому порядку. Усі документи відповідають встановленим вимогам. Дисертація до захисту подається перше. А хто за запропонований порядок денний? Прошу голосувати. Хто за? Так. Проти? Утримався? Так, немає. Пропозиція приймається, і дозвольте зачитати біографічні дані аспірантки. Мао Жун, 1980 року народження, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчила в 2012 році університет Чжэнчжоу легкої промисловості, місто Чжэнчжоу, Китайська Народна Республіка, за спеціальністю ідеологічне та політичне виховання та за спеціальністю права. Аспірантуру закінчила в 2023 році Сумський національний аграрний університет Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Дисертація виконана в Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Тема дисертації затверджена на засіданні Вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету, протокол номер 6 від 22 грудня 2019 року. А Мао Жун завершила виконання освітньо-наукової програми у 2023 році. 16 червня 2023 року відбулася публічна презентація дисертаційного дослідження на кафедрі менеджменту імені професора Михайлової за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, де дисертацію було рекомендовано до розгляду та захисту у разовій спеціалізованій вченій раді. Основні наукові положення та результати досліджень за темою дисертації опубліковано в 16 наукових працях, з них одна стаття опублікована в наукових періодичних виданнях Організації економічного співробітництва та розвитку країн, які включені до науково-метричної бази даних Scopus, 4 статті у фахових наукових виданнях України категорії Б, 11 тез в матеріалах наукових конференцій, наукові публікації відповідають вимогам пункту 8.9 порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасуванням рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії Постанова Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44. Дисертація відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12.01.2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертацій та порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради закладу вищої освіти, наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії, постанова номер 44 від 12 січня 2022 року. Чи є питання у членів спеціалізованої вченої ради? Так, питань немає. Із здобувачем погоджено, що захист дисертації буде проводитись англійською мовою. Good day. We will start your public presentation, official defense. You have 20 minutes to presentation, and now share your screen. For us, we are waiting for your report. Thank you very much.
Okay. I will begin. Dear Head, dear Professor from scientific community, let me present the main results of scientific dissertation on topic management of socio-economic development of the enterprise's personnel. The management of socio-economic development is one of the determining factors of the ensuring the stable development of the state in general, and achieving the optimal indicator of the development of the personnel of enterprises should be considered as the primary interest of management at all levels. Due to the high share of Chinese citizens in the total population of the world, in this country has formed an imbalance between the surplus of labor resources and the shortage of jobs, which creates certain problems of a socio-economic nature. Since the 16th of the 20th century, a purposeful demographic policy has been implemented in the country, which has its own effective consequence. The nature increase of the population has decreased by 3 times, which has improved the general indicators of the country's socio-economic development. This burdens the state budget and the pension fund, and also contributes to growth of taxes and therefore the burden on business. Despite that, the Chinese economy is characterized by economic development programming. Since 1953, 12 five-year plans for socio-economic development have been implemented in China. Such planning, as time has shown, is very effective. China's economic growth is indisputable proof of this. The exception in 2020, when due to the COVID pandemic and strict restrictive measures, the Chinese economy grew only 2.3% for the year. The reason was both the shutdown of all sectors of the economy and the outflow of international personnel who were forced to leave urgently from the country. What also affected the change in general indicators of social and economic development of the Chinese economy. This is due to the fact that the number of unemployed people increased significantly at the beginning of 2020, which is connected with the pandemic and the global economic crisis. At the same time, China's economic recovery in the second four quarters of 2020 contributed to the improvement of the country's labor market. At the same time, the country is experiencing a labor shortage, which has to be brought in from abroad. It should also be noted the large number of people who have reached 60, 80, and even 100 years of age. This is a sign of the high level of medicine, but it will definitely cause problems in the economy and labor market in China in the future. A sudden global epidemic changed the initial model and trajectory of business development of enterprises. According to the results of the author's survey, it can be assumed that as HR scenarios such as recruitment, a day-to-day office work, recruitment and training expand online, more and more companies will use HR digitization as a starting point to improve operational efficiency and change their business model. In this direction, the author's interpretation of the definition of talent is defined as an employee who occupies a strategic workplace at the moment and will be able to occupy it in the future. Thus, staffing and talent management are based on the concept of strategy workplace. Research shows that the most successful companies develop two levels of performance indicators, basic and advanced, or in other words, minimally necessary and desirable. Such a way of setting tasks in combination with a built-in management model of talent employees effectively stimulates them at the same time as the company achieves the maximum result. We see disparities in the socio-economic development of human resources by region and country. This is related to the structural features of economic development and the territorial location of enterprises of various types of business. For example, all major universities are located in the eastern part. In addition, large metropolises and business centers are concentrated in the eastern part. On the other hand, the western part of the country is characterized by the presence of enterprises of the raw materials sector and heavy engineering and metallurgy. In addition, the impact of technology change on talent competitiveness comes from that technology is also creating new opportunities. For confirmation, we will calculate the talent competitiveness index, which is calculated on the basis of the heuristic average of 6 criteria. As we can see, the indicators of the global knowledge criterion characters China as a country with significant human resources potential. It is the highest in the East due to the highest concentration of students, and the manufacturing skills indicators is the highest in the West because the entire process of producing goods is concentrated there. Thus, for the effective motivation of personnel as a basis for building effective socio-economic development of the enterprise, it is necessary to supplement traditional HR methods with new principles in accordance with the strategy and cooperative culture. A high level of wage, working conditions, social context, active cooperation in teams, and creative group are important. We conducted a survey of 160 enterprises of various industries and size on the questions indicators in the form on the diagram. A lack of talented employees at enterprises was revealed due to the lack of a comprehensive system of motivation and development of talents. Financial, material, managerial. In addition, talent management is not a priority of the company's HR policy due to managers' misunderstanding of its necessity. It is necessary to create working conditions in which the employee would feel his significant, aware of his own contribution to the socio-economic development of the enterprise. Staff motivation can be effective if the best HR methods of material and non-material stimulation are used. Analyzing the situation in HR, the main strengths and weaknesses in talent management in enterprises were structured, as well as the opportunities and cautions in this process were identified. Taking into account the influence of factors of the external and internal environment, which is quite specific for China. One of the results of the analysis can be a plan for correcting the identified shortcomings in the work of the service. At the same time, the plan can be both involutionary and revolutionary. Thanks to the implementation of which there is a significant change in the work of the personnel survey. Up to the transition to the outsourcing of part of the business processes. This individuation into groups is conditional, but it is based on the psychological features of personality development as a whole and allows significant economic needs, desires, interests, and this is exactly what needs to be satisfied. But material motivation cannot keep employees for a long time. So the manager of a small enterprise needs to remember the short-term nature of its action. In some cases, a high salary can keep an employee from leaving the company, but will not force him to give 100%. At the same time, the reason for this behavior in a high sense of responsibility and lack of fear of it. For such an employee, the right to express one's own opinion, to be involved in certain action and situation, to independently make decisions and implement them is of great importance. This should be taken into account when developing a motivation system. In our opinion, the composition of the compensation package can be different, but the managers of small business still need to consider the individual need of the staff. An individual approach to determining the composition of the compensation package allows you to effectively motivate employees. In order to build an effective system of personnel motivation, taking into account the individual needs of employees at work, it is proposed to individual all employees into certain conditional groups. Unfortunately, the majority of surveyed workers, more than 80%, consider themselves poor every year and feel social discomfort. Taking into account all of the above, the concept of motivating the personnel of Chinese enterprises should optimize the global and local, guided not only by the principle of economic benefit, but also by the spiritual components characteristic of nation. Only by synthesizing the economic and spiritual principle, it is possible to ensure the development of a socially active personality. A professionally literate, competent, creative worker, and the motivational policy of domestic enterprises should be aimed at this. Our proposed approach assumes that a person is a changeable but uncontrollable variable of the enterprise. Thus, it is necessary to change the system of views on a person in the organization. The new approach to human resources management requires the solution of two types of tasks. The first is the study of a person as an independent unit in production. The second is the development of an action program aimed at best meeting the needs of an individual employee. The final result of such activity should be manifested in more effective work of each member of the company's team, which is stimulated by personal motivation. Also, one of the tools can be self-management, the role of which has so far been underestimated. Initially, self-management was considered only as a direction of management related to the scientific organization of the manager's work. However, recently, it began to stand out as an independent branch of knowledge. Within the framework of the proposed approach, self-management can become the most important component of human resource management, which provides managers with tools for guiding the company's employees. This is a list of my published work. Thanks for your attention.
Thank you. The report is complete. Dear colleagues, ask question, please. First, I invite Professor Клецова Natalia.
Okay, Mao Zhong, thank you so much for your presentation. Interesting research as well. I've got several questions. The first one, can you please more deeply to characterize the complex of scientific methods that you choose for your research?
Thanks, Professor, for your question. In the dissertation work was imposed the methodical approach managing the socio-economic development of enterprise personnel by taking into account in the social criteria the evolution of the improvement of the qualifications of employees, which transparently and quantitatively reflects the level of professional knowledge acquired through training. In addition, a person's potential ability to learn will qualify as a criterion for enrolling an employee in the development subgroup in the company's personnel management system. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mao Zhong. I've got one more question, if you don't mind. In your research, you touched upon the issue of social responsibility. Can you describe how does this criteria influence on the talent development? Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Professor, for your question. Thank you. Talents as part of the human resources of an organization who bear responsibility both to others and feel responsibility from above of their activities. Therefore, this deep question is also considered in the dissertation work. Social responsibility is a red thread through all stages of training and development of human resources. From the reserve of labor resources to the occupation of a position by an already treated specialist, taking into account his talents. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you for a substantial answer. Thank you so much, Mao Zhong. Any questions?
Next. Okay, so continue. Next will be Professor Людмила Могильна. Your question.
Thank you. Mao Jun, during your dissertation report, I had the following clarified question. My first question, why did you choose the concept of talent management? Thank you.
Thanks, Professor, for your question. Thank you. Consistent and purposeful implementation of the components of the concept of talent management considered by us will create a favorable basis for the formation of a holistic strategy for the development and management of talent in the company. The main goals and priorities of which should be organically combined into an integrated overall strategy for its development. Companies' understanding and awareness of the importance of talent as a component of their competitiveness will contribute the formation of an effective personnel management system based on value-oriented approaches to human intellectual ability. That's my answer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I am satisfied with the answer. And My last question. What role does motivation and self-management play in management of social economic development of the enterprise's personnel? Thank you.
Thanks, Professor. Thanks, Professor, for your question. The approach proposed by us assumes that a person is a changeable but uncontrolled variable of the enterprises. The management's task in this case is to study the patterns of personality development and develop appropriate programs that provide better satisfaction of the growing needs of each employee than competitors. In other words, self-management indicators. This approach will allow a comprehensive investigation of the problem from the point of view of the systemic development of the enterprises. That's my answer. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. I am satisfied with the answer, and I have no more questions for Mao Jun. Thank you.
We continue. I invite Professor Katerina Kozak. Your question, please.
Yes, thank you, Mao Jun. At first, thank you for actual topic for the dissertation and interesting presentation. And I have two questions for you. At once, please give your vision for the definition of social development and economic development.
Thanks, Professor, for your question. Economic development refers to the growth in terms of economy, while social development refers to the entire well-being of the people in terms of education, health, and so on. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you. I satisfied. If you don't mind, I have one more question. You have an interesting approach to talent development. What do you mean by this concept, and in what areas can it be applied?
Thanks, Professor, for your question. A detailed study revealed a shortage of talented workers due to the lack of a comprehensive system of factors of motivation and talent development. Financial, material, managerial, it was determined that talent management is not a priority of companies' personnel policy due to manager lack of understanding if it's necessary. Therefore, one of the ways to solve the problem should be the creation of an environment and working conditions in which the employee would feel his importance, aware of his own contribution to the socio-economic development of the enterprise. It has been proved that staff motivation can be effective if the best HR method of tangible and intangible incentives are used. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Mao Jun. I satisfied. Thank you.
So, Professor Anna Shestakova, your question, please.
My question for Mao Jun. First, which companies did you take for research?
Thanks, Professor, for your question. In our research, we took analyzed non-state enterprises without taking into count the number of employees and the field of activity. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. And next question. In your opinion, has the essence or the concept of personal management changed?
Thank you. Thanks, Professor. In your opinion, enterprises that do not understand this in time may turn out to be uncompetitive in the market, which is already characterized by constantly growing challenges regarding the quality and safety of products, and put forward new requirements for the technical and technological equipment of product manufacturers. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm satisfied.
Thank
So,
you.
Mao Jun, and my question for dessert, first one, what factors contribute to personal development?
Thanks, Professor, for your question. The use of a material and intellectual incentive model based on the assessment of the motivation system of employees of enterprises will provide an opportunity to motivate employees to performance work well, help to effectively conduct personnel certification, and control the quality of qualification, knowledge, and skills. Automate the work of evaluating labor actively, and the formation of current accounting and individual information for accrual of material incentives to assess the motivational potential, production, social and creative activity of employees, to model the accrual of regulate material incentives. That's my answer. Thank you.
I am satisfied. Thank you. One more. And last, what criterion did you use when improving the methodological approach to the management of social and economic development of personnel?
Thanks, Professor, for your question. We propose to create the system of personnel development methods through training, which are expediently applied in modern enterprises. It's extensive and has its own specific application depending on the need, financial capability, and the severity of problems arising in the economic and management activities of the enterprises. That's my answer. Thank you.
Thank you. I am satisfied. Dear colleagues, no more questions. Okay, and now, Mao Jun, you have some minutes for rest because I read in official documents. Шановні члени Ради, маю оголосити висновок про наукову новизну, теоретичне та практичне значення. Документ є в матеріалах справи, тому я зупинюся лише на основних моментах. Щодо актуальності теми роботи, то управління соціально-економічним розвитком є одним із визначальних факторів забезпечення показника стабільного розвитку держави. Загалом досягнення оптимального показнику розвитку персоналу підприємств слід розглядати як першочерговий інтерес менеджменту на всіх рівнях, передумову і водночас результат успішного функціонування бізнесу. Прогнозується, що в найближчому майбутньому Китай обжене США економічно і стане наймогутнішою країною світу. Проте високі темпи економічного розвитку та вихід на лідируючі позиції у світі дісталися Китаю дорогою ціною. Зіпсована екологія, соціальна нерівність, диспропорція на ринку праці тощо. Щодо зв'язку з наукової тематики роботи, то вона виконана в межах тематичного плану науково-дослідних робіт Сумського національного аграрного університету в рамках теми розвиток менеджменту в умовах міжнародних інтеграційних процесів 2019-2023 року. Щодо наукової новизни одержаних результатів, то вона корелюється з завданнями в роботі і зупинюся на основних, а саме, що вперше було запропоновано концептуальну модель управління розвитком персоналу підприємства відповідно до отриманої атрибутивної структури системи управлінням розвитку як процесу, що включає 3 підсистеми – людський, професійний і сталий, тобто соціальний розвиток. В результаті сформувалася система професійного розвитку персоналу на підприємстві в залежності від етапів включення індивідів в організацію, основою ефективності якої є визначення рівня готовності та сприйняття навчання організацією. Удосконалення методичний підхід до управління соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу шляхом врахування в критеріях соціальної оцінки, підвищення кваліфікації працівників. Також теоретико-методологічний механізм управління персоналом – це сукупність відносин, зв'язків, форм і методів впливу на процес управління, його виробництва, розподіл і використання. Якщо розглядати цей аспект з позиції системного та комплексного підходів, то механізм управління розкривається як єдина нерозривна система, кожен елемент якої налаштований на виконання своїх цілей і завдань. Набудова подальшого розвитку, талант, визначення як працівник, який займає стратегічне робоче місце в даний момент, або може зайняти його в майбутньому. Щодо теоретичного та практичного значення результатів роботи, то робота була спрямована на оцінку сучасного стану рівня управління соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу підприємств, виявлення слабких місць та побудову комплексної системи заходів щодо вдосконалення в управлінні соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу. Головні результати отримані особисто автором, було апробація викладених в дисертаційному дослідженні науково-практичних результатів, здійснена особисто здобувачем за науково-методичного супровіду наукового керівника. Також кількість наукових публікацій є 16, з них одна опублікована в науково-періодичних виданнях бази даних Scopus, 4 статті у фахових виданнях та 11 тез в матеріалах наукових конференцій. І основне, що я повинна зачитати, це відповідність дисертації спеціальності та профілю ради, дисертаційна робота Мао Жун, управління соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу, англійською Management of Social-Economic Development of Enterprises Personnel, яка подана на захист у спеціалізовану вчену раду на здобуття ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, своєю актуальністю, науково-теоретичним рівнем, основними результатами обґрунтованості, основними положеннями і результатами, опублікованої у фахових виданнях, новизна постановки і практичним значенням, відповідає вимогам наказу МОН України номер 40 від 12 січня 2017 року про затвердження вимог до оформлення дисертації та постанови Кабінету міністрів України від 12 січня 2022 року номер 44 про затвердження порядку присудження ступеня доктора філософії та скасування рішення разової спеціалізованої вченої ради заклади вищої освіти наукової установи про присудження ступеня доктора філософії із змінами внесеними згідно з постановою Кабінету міністрів номер 341 від 21.03.2022 року. З дисертації відповідає паспорту спеціальності 073 менеджмент. Dear colleagues, Mao Jun, we begin the discussion of the dissertation work. I invite a review to speak Professor Natalia Klitsova, PhD in Economics, Sumy National Agrarian University. You are welcome.
Hey, dear colleagues, dear Mao Jun, I'm just honored to deliver the review for the dissertation work of a graduate student of the Department of Management, named after Mikhailova Mao Jun, on the topic Management of Socioeconomic Development of the Enterprises Personnel, that was submitted to obtain the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of Knowledge 07, Management and Administration, in specialty 073 Management. So nowadays, social economic development can be referred to as gradated of social, political, and technological use in the operation of enterprises activity in order to increase welfare of the stakeholders. Such policies are helping the countries and firms in developing lifestyles of the stakeholders, and mainly HR managers are responsible to increase the motivators and well-being of the employees or the stakeholders of the firms. And to get this point, staffing and talent management should be focused on by implementing the concept of a strategic workplace. That's why the People's Republic of China is not an exception, and that provides the actuality and necessity of the investigated topic by the dissertation student. I have to admit that the dissertation was carried out in accordance with the direction of research work of the Department of Management, named by Professor Mikhailov of Sumy Natural Agrarian University, and as well within by the authors was carried out of the topic of management of socioeconomic development of the personnel of enterprises in China. Concerning the scientific novelty of the study, it lies in the following key aspects: to focus on the assessment of the current state of the level of management of the socioeconomic development of the personnel of enterprises of the People's Republic of China, the identification of weak points and the construction of comparative system of improved measures in managing of socioeconomic development of the personnel of enterprises, and considering the influence of the external as well as internal environment. Secondly, we have to aim for the first time to process a conceptual model of enterprise personal development management in accordance with the obtained attribute structure of the personal development management system as a process that includes 3 subsystems at all. To consider in the social evaluation criteria the improvement of the qualifications of employees, which transparently and quantitatively reflects the level of acquired professional knowledge through training to improve a methodological approach to the management of the socioeconomic development of the enterprise personnel, to reveal theoretical and methodological mechanism of personnel management from the standpoint of systematic and complex approaches, as well to receive the further development for the concept talent that is defined as an employee who occupies a strategic workplace at the moment or will be able to occupy it in the future. It was proved by the author that staffing and talent management are based on the concept of a strategic workplace, and to set measures for professional training of the personnel which allow planning, forecasting, and organizing the professional development of the staff at the enterprise. I have to admit that the practical significance of the obtained results are beyond doubt. Thus, from a practical point of view, the dissertation research can influence the methods of managerial decision-making by the middle and upper management of Chinese enterprises. Mao Jun's dissertation consists of an introduction, 3 sections, conclusions, and references laid out in 180 pages of the main text, including 34 tables, 31 figures, and the list of used literature sources contained 100 68 items on 22 pages. I have to underline the introduction to the dissertation contains all structural elements. In the first section of the dissertation, Mao Jun discussed the theoretical and methodological foundations of managing the socio-economic personal development and the enterprises. Then, in the second section of the dissertation, Mao Jun analyzed the current state of management of social and economic personal development in the enterprise. Thirdly, in the third section of the dissertation, conceptual technique of social economic personal development in China were discussed as well. The conclusions to the dissertation summarizes the main provisions that specify the content of the performed research and the obtained results following the tasks and the general purpose of the study. Scientific provisions, all recommendations, as well as the conclusions of the dissertation covered by Mao Jun in 16 scientific works. From the text of the dissertation submitted for review, a conclusion can be drawn about the scientific maturity of the applicant, her ability to see current problems in the field of her willingness to solve them as a sufficient high scientific level. In general, Mao Jun's dissertation is an entirely independent study in its content as well as its form, positively assessing the scientific and practical significance of the dissertation. One should point out several debate provisions. So, in chapter 1, the dissertation student, researching the issues of personal development methods, emphasizes orientation through training. The question arises whether the researcher took in account the possibility of using the field method at Chinese enterprises in order to strengthen the economic effect of the implemented training tool for the development of the selected research sample of a personnel. In chapter 2 and in scientific novelty, the author stated that during the formation of the personnel management developed system, it was established that management is carried out only under the conditions of the existence of an active systems, one of the components of which is the development subsystems. It was also researched that after the modification, the company's personnel management system should be formed in such a way that it should consist of 8 subsystems, including personal development. In our opinion, the findings would be more of value if the dissertation researched staff development in combination with learning as a whole, learning and development. After all, an innovative approach to human resource management, according to the professional MAP international standards by CIPD in 2023, aims at learning and development as a whole one. In subsections 2.2 and 2.3, the detailed study of the state of management of the socio-economic development of the personnel of the enterprises of the People's Republic of China revealed a shortage of talented workers due to the lack of comprehensive system of factors of motivation and talent development, financial, material, managerial. We consider that this work would have more practical nature if the dissertation student predicted individual factors of influence on staff motivation at Chinese companies through correlation regression analysis, revealing the dependence of certain factors that could be used in 5 years as new tool for the social development of the staff. In subsection 2.3 and chapter 3, the author revealed that innovations have brought challenges of rapid application of new technologies in human resource management in China. Artificial intelligence, big data, blockchain, and other technologies are widely applied in the field of human resource management, bringing efficient, accurate, and scientific inputs to the development of human resources management. The question arises as to how these factors can be affected by the circumstances caused by the turbulent environment. However, However, the expressed commands and wishes do not reduce the research's overall high quality. The analysis of the dissertation and scientific papers give reason to conclude that Mao Jun's dissertation on the topic management of socio-economic development of the enterprise's personnel is a completed, independently performed scientific work that has significant theoretical and applied significance. The dissertation solves a specific scientific task of developing theoretical provisions and methodological principles and formulating practical model and recommendations to improve the effective personnel management of socioeconomic development of the enterprise's personnel in China. So, Mao Jun's dissertation on the topic management of socioeconomic development of the enterprise's personnel, which was submitted for defense to the Specialized Academic Council for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management, according to its relevance, scientific theoretical level, main results of justification, main provisions, and results published in professional publications, novelty of the production and practical significance. It meets the requirements of the order of the Minister of Education and Science of Ukraine, number 40 from the 12th of January 2017, on approval of requirements for the preparation of a dissertation, and resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine dated from the 12th of January 2022, number 44, on approval of the procedure of awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time Specialized Academic Council of a higher education institution, scientific institution, on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, with changes introduced in accordance with resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 from 21st of March 2022. The content of the dissertation corresponds to the passport of the specialty. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Natalia. Mao Jun, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in review.
Thank you, Professor, for your comments. They are very valuable. Allow me to comment on the remarks. The field mentioned was applied in the Chinese company CITIC Limited when studying the impact of personnel development program on the effectiveness of personnel activity, as well as its impact on increasing labor productivity and the competitiveness of the enterprises. So, according to CITIC Limited, the search, hiring, and adaptation of new specialists costs the employer 50 to 60% of the salary of the former employee. Therefore, companies that bet on hiring new specialists lose a lot of money instead of developing already employed ones. In the dissertation work, the methodical approach to managing the socio-economic development of enterprises personnel was improved by taking into account in the social criteria the evaluation of the improvement of the qualifications of employees, which transparency and quantitatively reflects the level of professional knowledge acquired through training. In addition, a person's potential ability to learn will qualify as a criterion for enrolling an employee in the development subgroup in the company's personnel management system. Indeed, consolidation analysis could improve the practical results of the visualization and help in forecasting. This will definitely become one of the areas of research that we will additionally conduct in the near future and publish the results. Therefore, the main task of the dissertation was to analyze the new characteristics of the management of the socio-economic development of the personnel of enterprises, identify possible problems and propose solutions to implement innovative and benign development of human resources management in the area of new technology. Thank you. Thank you.
Natalia, are you satisfied
Yes.
with the answer?
Yes, thank you, Mao Jun. I'm satisfied for your detailed answer. Thank you so much.
So we continue. I invite a review to speak Professor Могильна Людмила, PhD in Economics from National Agrarian University. You are welcome.
Thank you. The full text of Mao Jun dissertation research can be found on the attestation file of the applicant or university website. So I would like to go to the main point in my review. China plays a crucial role in the global economy and is one of the largest economies in the world. The rapid development of the Chinese economy, innovation, technology, and competitiveness of its enterprise depend on effective human resource management. The high labor force that China creates the need to develop an appropriate HR policy that would not only take into account the economic interest of companies, but also contribute to the social development of the country. It is the growth competition in the market that requires companies to constantly improve the level of knowledge and skill of their staff, adopt them to the latest technologies, and develop creativity to ensure innovative development. Also important are the ensure of creating favorable working conditions and social protection of employees, ensuring a decent level of salary, which will help to increase employee motivation and their work productivity. To summarize, the management of social economic development of the personnel of Chinese enterprises is a relevant topic due to its impact on economic growth, competitiveness of enterprises and social progress in the country. Effective human resource management is becoming a strategic component for the beginning development of human resource management. Achieving success and sustainable development into the context of globalization and rapidly changing economic environment. Mao Jun presents for the first time a conceptual model of personal development management at enterprise according to the obtained attribute structure of the personal development management system as a process that includes three subsystems: human, professional, and subsystem, as well as social development. This model makes it possible to form a system of professional development of professional personnel at an enterprise dependent on the status of integration of individuals into the structure of the organization. Assessment of the level of readiness and perception of training by the organization is the basis for the effectiveness of this system. Mao Jun proposed to develop a set of measures for the educational development of personnel in the following areas: adaptation of new employees, improving the efficiency of the enterprises as a whole, improving work efficiency. In the scientific work of dissertation, the methodological approach to managing the socio-economic development of enterprise personnel deserves attention. This approach takes into account the social assessment as a criterion for employee development. This assessment transparently and quantitatively reflects the level of their professional knowledge gained through training. In addition, they also classify the potential ability, talent of an individual to learn. Mao Jun dissertation consists of an introduction, 3 chapters, conclusion, and lists of reference, which are set out on 180 pages on the main text. Mao Jun dissertation on the topic management of socioeconomic development of the enterprises personnel is the result of independent research of the inquirer and does not contain element of plagiarism and borrowing in accordance with the resolution of the Cabinet of Ministry of Ukraine. The main results of the research are presented in 16 scientific papers, of which 5 are publications in scientific professional journal, including 1 publication indexed by the Scopus, which further confirms the high level of the applicant's scientific positions. The content of the dissertation submitted for review allow conclusion to be drawn about the scientific maturity of the applicant, her ability to identify current issues in the field, and her willingness to solve them at sufficiently high scientific level. In general, Mao Jun dissertation in a completely independent study in terms of content and form to assess the scientific and practical significance of the dissertation positively, it is necessary to point out some questionable provisions. First, given the topic of the research and the dissertation of the specialty 073 management, it would be more appropriate to supplement the management function in practical planning, organization, motivation, control in the theoretical chapter. Next, in chapter 1, it would be advisable to highlight the modern concept of managing the social economic development of enterprises personnel. Next, in subchapter 2.2, it would be desirable to analyze in more detail the motivational incentives, in particular economic and social, which affect the level of socioeconomic development of personnel. Next, taking into account the depth of the analytical work carried out in chapter 2, for better visualization, it would be worthwhile to schematically depict the place of macro, micro, and individual level of personal development in the enterprise management system. It would be advisable to study in more details the demand for permission profession and their impact on the social economic development of personnel. However, the comments which expressed do not detract for the overall high quality of the research. The analysis of the dissertation and scientific paper leads to the conclusion that Mao Jun dissertation on the topic of management of social economic development of the enterprises personnel is completed, independently conducted scientific work that has significant theoretical and applied significance. The scientific result of the dissertation correspond to the specialty 073 management, in which the work was submitted for defense. The scientific significance of the result obtained is endorsed and sufficient to recognize the completion of the study or in all qualification criteria. Mao Jun dissertation on the topic management of socio-economic development of the enterprise personnel, which was submitted for defense to the specialized academic council for obtain the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge, 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management, according to its relevant scientific theoretical levels, main result of justification, main provisions, and result published in professional publications, novelty of the production and practical significance. It meets the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. The content of the dissertation correspond to the passport of the specialty. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. So, Mao Jun, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in review.
Thank you, Professor, for your comments. We will take your wishes into account in further research. However, let me respond to some. We try to implement all these functions in our proposed approaches to the development of the company's personnel. In particular, planning, organization, and motivation became the basis to the company's personnel. For the development of a personnel management system, we try to accumulate all modern concepts of management, but life does not stand still. Therefore, in our further research, we will definitely continue to study innovative approaches to management. I assure you that in our future work, the concepts of management of socio-economic development of enterprises personnel will be highlighted. Thus, we classified motivation similarly into four groups. Primary, providing physiological needs, interests. When basic needs are satisfied, a person has an incentive to learn new information, new skills, and so on. Personnel profit is incentives for self-development and self-improvement, and accumulation of money, which is possible for highly qualified employees. At the stage of accumulating money, the employee has already accumulated his own social and economic incentives and has reached a certain level of development. In addition, we depicted the impact of all motivational factors on staff development on slide 14 in the report. I would like to emphasize that we deliberately did not set ourselves the task to single out certain industries or spheres of activities in order not to popularize certain professions. In our opinion, the practical value of the dissertation work lies in the development of a unified strategy for the development of the company's personnel through highlighting the talents of employees. And each individual manager at the enterprise will be able to adjust this program to their own internal and external conditions. We will take your wishes into account in future research. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
But are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I am satisfied with the answer. Thank you.
We continue. I invite an official opponent to speak, Katerina Kozak, Doctor of Economic Science, Professor, Odessa National Technological University, Yovel.
Thank you. Review for Mao Jun dissertation, Management of Socio-Economic Development of the Enterprises Personnel. It's an obvious fact that China is one of the most populous countries in the world. Over the past 40 years of reform and opening up, China has achieved rapid economic development, gradually improved people's living standards, made remarkable achievements in science and technology, and improved its economic system, becoming the second largest economy in the world. Economic transformation is an important part of China's, and factors such as human resource management and various institutions have played an important role in this process and also promoted social economic development. The control of population growth, the implementation of economic policies, the improvement of education, the progress of science and technology, and the imbalance of regional development have brought new characteristics and new challenges to the social economic development management of the enterprises personnel of China's enterprises. Thanks for detailed study of the various and methodological principles of modern management of socio-economic development of personnel in the organizational context, as well as the formation of a general concept of talent management for the possibility of its practical application and modern enterprises and determination the relevance of the topic. The scientific results obtained are based on theoretical and empirical studies and are reliable. The objective set can correspond to the research topic, the object and subject of the research, and the scientific and methodological requirements. In the dissertation, a new vision was obtained, which was formed in a conceptual model of enterprises talent development management is proposed for the first time, a process that includes the sub-domains of human, professional, and social development, forming the theory and method mechanism of scientific management, effective promotion and innovation, and business development of human resource management in the new technology area, so as to promote the development of enterprise talent and effective strategies management. Also, we improve the theoretical and methodological mechanism of personnel management is a set of relationship, connection forms, and methods of influence the process of personnel management, its production, distribution, and use. If we consider this aspect from the standpoint of systematic and complex approaches, then personnel management mechanism is revealed as a single inseparable system, each element of which configures and fulfill its goal and tasks, and at the same time a set of these goals. In the scientific results of this dissertation, improve the professional development of enterprises employers, put forward a set of professional training measures which can plan, forecast, and organize the professional development of enterprise employers. It's more scientific, reasonable, and operable than existing methods. the theoretical and practical significance of the results of the dissertation research is that main provision and the conclusions are agreed and substantiated in dissertation, which allow the implementation of management measures for the socio-economic development of personnel. From a practical point of view, the dissertation research from guidelines for personal development in the workplace, practical application for SWOT analysis, for talent management in HR strategy. Taking under consideration the above, the establishment system of staff development of the enterprises is a practical importance. Depending on the study stage on the inclusion of individuals of the organization, determination of the level of rigors and perception of the training of the organization. Scientific provision recommendation conclusion of the dissertation covered by Mao Jun is 16 papers, 11 conference papers, 1 articles published in journal indexing in Scopus, 4 articles in journals included in the list of the scientific professional publication of Ukraine assigned category B. The scientific provision, conclusions and recommendations obtained from the research results and sufficiently substantiated and reliable. The dissertation is characterized by a clear adherence to the structural and logical scheme of research, correspondence of the scientific results, and the provision issued for the protection of a scientific novelty to the set goal and the specific task of the research. The PhD student uses sufficient number of information sources from open database, regulatory and legal literature, statistical and analytical materials. The structure and content of the dissertation issued the requirements. The dissertation has introduction, 3 sections, and conclusions. The Mao Jun dissertation as whole, it should be noted that it certainly has relevance, scientific and practical significance. During the review of the work, some issues of debatable nature, comments and suggestions arose. At once, to improve the professional development of personnel of enterprise and set of personal training measures was proposed, which allow planning, forecasting and organizing the professional development of personnel and enterprises. However, it is necessary additionally indicate the internal connection and external manufacturing between these measures and discuss the direct and indirect impact. Second, the author notes, page 127, the rapid development of the thought, scientific and technological revolution, or the application of big data, cloud computing, blockchain, 5G, and other technological makes the digitalization of human research management more and more obvious. However, the impact of digitization process needs a wider coverage and justification. Next, in subsection 3.2, talent motivation as method of socioeconomic development or personal management, it was also worth taking into account interesting by age and predicting talent development after retirement. Next, in subsection 3.3, the hour focuses on the importance of self-management, but this requires a more detailed clarification regarding the physics of self-management that assigned to the employer. However, the insider comments and wishes do not fundamentally affect the overall positive assessment of the dissertation work are not fundamental and do not reduce its overall assessment. Mao Jun's dissertation on the topic management of socio-economic developments of the enterprise's personnel, which submitted for defense to the specialized academic council of updating the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management, according to its relevance scientific theoretical level. Main results of justification made provision and results published in professional publication, novelty of the production and practical signification. It means the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine. Number 40 from 12 of January 2070, and approximately of requirements of the property of this dissertation and the resolution of the Cabinet of Minister of Ukraine, date from 20 January 2022, number 44, on approval of the produced awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of a higher education institution, scientific institution on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy, with change introduced in according with resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 from 21 of March 2022. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Katerina. Mao Jun, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in review. You are welcome.
Thank you, Professor. Your comments are very important for us. We will take into consideration them for future research. Now, let me answer for some of them. To improve the professional development of personnel at the enterprise, when creating a complex of professional training activities that allow planning, forecasting, and organizing the professional development of personnel at the enterprise, it is necessary to take into account measures of external and internal influence. For this purpose, the program in increasing labor motivation efficiency and improving the use of personnel at the enterprise is shown in Table 3.8. All of these factors have a major impact on talent development under the influence of globalization, but the study of each of these factors requires thorough work. So, in the future, we will certainly consider their influence on the development of talents in the organization. The issue of the development of human resources after the age of 60 is very acute in Chinese society. After retirement, workers with a high social status become mentors for the youth, which strengthens the social bond between generations. Thus, while still at a working age, people strive to reach professional heights through the development of their own talents in order to continue doing what they love after retirement. In Figure 3.8, we depicted of recommendation for building a motivation system in the organization based on the result identified in Figure 3.7. In addition, The direct responsibilities of this service in terms of motivation police are to ensure a social macroclimate, a status, self-affirmation of a person, favorable opportunities for self-development of the individual, creative nature of work, creativity of thought and generation of innovative ideas, labor protection and working conditions, effective communication. Thank you.
So, are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes, I am satisfied. Thank you, Мао Жун. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.
Continue. I invite an official opponent to speak, Professor Anna Shestakova, PhD in Economics, Zhytomyr Technological College of Kyiv National University of Construction and Architecture.
Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
First, relevance of the topic of the dissertation. The rapid development of China as a new global power is gradually turning into one of the leading trends in the modern development of the world economy. The basic condition for the development of economy, a new quality of economic growth, is the multiplication of human capital, which processes are closely connected with economic and innovative processes in society, and the results of which cause changes in the social sphere of the country. Highly educated, creatively realized employees are the source of new developments, inventions, and other objects of intellectual property. So, connection of work with scientific programs, topics, plans. The dissertation was carried out in accordance with the directions of research work of the Department of Management named after Professor Lyubov Mikhailova of Sumy National Agrarian University, development of management in the context of international integration processes, 2019-2023. State registration number 0119U001336. Vision by the author was carried out the topic of management of socio-economic development of the personnel of enterprises in China. Third, scientific novelty of the obtained results. The scientific novelty of the obtained results lies in the deepening of the existing theoretical provisions and the development of scientific, practical, and methodological recommendations for management of socio-economic development of enterprises personnel. The author confirms the relevance and choice of the research topic at a sufficient scientific level and identifies the research objectives, tasks, objects, and subjects. The research methods used in the work are accompanied by appropriate reasoning. The goal of this paper is to find out the weak link of the management of social economic development of enterprises, personnel, third research. Scientifically correlates the element of scientific novelty that has gained a further development in particular talent, is defined as an employer who occupies a strategic workplace at the moment and or will be able to occupy in the future. Such a way of setting tasks in combination with an built-in management model of talented employees effectively stimulates them, which the company's achievement of maximum results. Note that the conducted research and calculation confirm the significance there above. Third, scientific and practical significance. The practical significance of the results is that the innovative methods of personnel management in China's social economic development are explored the methods of systematic management of enterprise personnel social economic development are perfected, and management system model of enterprises personal economic development is constructed. From a scientific and practical point of view, the managers of enterprises investigate the development of various components of personal management efficiency. 5. Completeness of a presentation of the dissertation material in scientific publication. Scientific provisions, recommendations, conclusion of the dissertation covered by Mao Jun in 16 scientific papers, 11 conference papers, 1 articles published in journals indexed in Scopus, 4 articles in journals included in the list of scientific professional publication of Ukraine, assignated category B. 6. The degree of validity of scientific provisions. Scientific provisions, conclusions, and recommendations developed by the author and presented in the dissertation have a high level of validity. The author processed a significant number of literary sources, qualitatively analyzed normative provisions, and international experience of managing the socio-economic development of personnel. When researching issue arising from the topic of the dissertation, in each specific case, the author critically interprets the achievements of scientists, necessarily expressing his opinion, which testifies to the high scientific culture of the acquired. 7. The structure and content of the dissertation, its completeness and compliance with the establishment requirements for design. The work consists of introduction, 3 chapters, conclusions, and references. Laid out on 180 pages of the main text includes 34 tables, 31 figures. The list of used literary sources contain 168 themes on the 22nd page. In the 4th section of the dissertation, the author analyzes and summarizes the theoretical and methodological basis of social economic development management of enterprise personnel by comparing the theoretical research of Chinese and foreign scholars. The author emphasizes attention the personal development is a basic part of the interpersonal management process, which is inseparable from organizational development and the formation of employers' career. In the 2nd section of the dissertation, summed up enterprise social economic management status, personal development status. The author analyzes China's economic, technological, and innovative development, which is due to the correct and flexible response of national policies to risks and challenges. The situation of China's social economic development is deeply analyzed and points out that China still has a problem, such as a large population base, obvious regional differentiation of economic development, and serious aging of population. These social economic development factors will inevitably alter the social economic development management of China's enterprises. The author emphasizes information, technology, knowledge, compound talents, other core competencies, and enterprises must pay attention to the social economic development management of enterprises personnel in order to improve work efficiency, technological innovation, and development. In the third section of the dissertation, the author puts forward to the main reason for the lack of talents in enterprises is the lack of comprehensive system to motivate and develop talents from the aspects of capital, material, and management. Employees should be motivated using the best HR methods for both material and non-material incentives. It has been proven personal management mechanism is a series of relations, connections, forms, and methods that affect the process of the personal management, its generation, distribution, and use. The conclusion to the dissertation summaries the context of the research, builds a modern enterprise employer incentive system model, demonstrates the necessity of forming a social economic development management system for Chinese enterprises, and provides references for enterprise. H. Discussion, closure, and remarks to the dissertation. During the review of the work, some issues of a debatable nature, comments, and suggestions arose. First, in chapter 1.1, it would be advisable to consider practical approaches to management the socio-economic development of personnel at Ukrainian enterprises by comparative method. Second, in subsection 1.3, page 63, it would be worth to consider the impact of artificial intelligence or the professions of the future in China, which means the author's own vision of the future reflection in the education system and further employing of specialists. 3. In subsection 1.3, the styles of personal development management are discussed, but it would be more relevant to pay more attention to the impact of social capitalism as a form of public governance in China, or the socio-economic development of enterprises personnel. 4. In subsection 3.1, page 133, it would be advisable to develop and expand of innovative methods of the talent recruitment. And 5, in subsection 3.1, page 130, it would be useful to take into account the reasons why managers do not understand the importance of a holistic system of the employee motivation. Those comments do not reduce the scientific and practical value of Mao Jun's research and do not affect the overall positive assessment of the received work. 9. General conclusion. Mao Jun's dissertation on the topic management of socio-economic development of enterprises personnel, which was submitted for the defense to the specialized academic council for obtaining the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management and Administration, specialty 073 Management according to its relevance, scientific theoretical level, main results of justification, main provisions, and the result published in professional publications, novelty of the production and practical significance. It meets the requirements of the order of the Ministry of Education and Science of Ukraine number 30 from 12/01/2017 on approval of requirements for the preparation of dissertation, and a resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers of Ukraine dated from 12/01/2022 number 34 on approval of the procedure for awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy and cancellation of the decision of the one-time specialized academic council of a higher education institution, scientific institution, on awarding the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. These changes introduced in accordance with resolution of the Cabinet of Ministers number 341 from 21/03/2022. Thank you.
Anna, you also responsibility review. Now, Mao Jun, you are given the opportunity to respond to comments that have been posted in review. You're welcome.
Thank you very much for your attention and the review of the work. Thank you for your comments. I was in Ukraine for only 1 year, and due to COVID-19 and the war, I was not able to deeply investigate the approaches to managing the socio-economic development of personnel at Ukrainian enterprises. But in the future, we will definitely return to the research of this issue. We believe that artificial intelligence should become an assistant and not a substitute for human resources in organizations. Therefore, we suggest that taking into account the development of talents in organizations, elements of artificial intelligence should be used in personnel training and personality development. After the reform of opening up, China's economic development has stepped out of a road of socialist economy with Chinese characteristics, socialist market economy. In Chapter 2, we also analyzed that the form of economic development is very rapidly. China's economy affects its own social development as well as the world, and the Chinese government is consistently exploring national policies suitable for its social and economic development. It would be interesting to research. Thanks for those two last comments. We will certainly return in further research to consider the issue of innovative talent development and the formation of a holistic system of employee motivation. Thank you. Thank you.
So, are you satisfied with the answer, Professor Anna?
Yeah, I am satisfied. Thank you, Mao Jun.
Continue. Dear colleagues, scientific council, according to the rules of work of the specialized academic council, we proceed to discussion of the thesis Mao Jun. I emphasize that all present members of the academic council have the right to take part in discussion. Therefore, I ask those who want to speak out about this work. I think Professor Natalia Kritsova, you will be first. You're so impressive.
Okay, thank you so much, Mao Jun. I'd like to say that the topic that you've chosen is really actual. The research that you provide in your dissertation work was really conceptual, and it was really visible that you've spent several years to collect data, to analyze it, then to compare it with the researchers that have done it before. I was really impressed how you was trying to correlate with the economic indicators and the digital indicators as well. I think that the applied results that you've got in your dissertation will be really essential, not only in your country. It can be useful for the enterprises who are engaged in HR management staff as well in other countries. So what I wanted to admit that the process that you answered the question showed that you are really engaged in your dissertation. You understood what you researched, what the final and the initial aim was. In future, those indicators and those amendments that all our reviewers and opponents that have defined in their speeches, I think they will be really, really useful. I wish you to continue research in this sphere, to widen them, and to be useful in your country as well, because the topic is really actual, not only during COVID, war, or just turbulent world. It also will be useful and up to date in a peacetime. That's why just go on. I'm satisfied. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Professor Natalia. Professor Людмила Могильна, your opinion, please.
Thank you. I support the opinion of the previous speaker. In my opinion, Mao Jun dissertation contains all the attributes that are necessary for PhD dissertation. As can be seen from the author abstract and the dissertation report, the work is relevant, the goal and objectives are clearly defined, various research methods are used, the result our scientific novelty, the work is presented in a logical sequence, the conclusion following from the result of the study. That's why the work is actual and interesting. Despite the comments, I must admit that the amount of work, the research and data analysis by the dissertation demonstrate professional development and allow me to evaluate the work as a whole positively and vote for the award of the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in the field of knowledge 07 Management Administration, specialty 0723 Management.
Thank you. Professor Katerina Kozak, your opinion, please.
Thank you. At first, the main provisions of the dissertation allow us to draw attention to the novelty of the author's approach. At the next, the conclusion to the chapter and general conclusions of the dissertation are well grounded and the proposal have practical significance. That's why I will support Mao Jun, and I wish you, Mao Jun, I wish you to continue the develop in this topic. Thank you for opportunity be opponent in this dissertation work, and taking under consideration the above, I will support this dissertation work. Thank you.
Thank you. Professor Shostakova, your opinion, please.
First of all, I want to note the relevance of the topic. This topic, in my opinion, is interesting because it appeared at the intersection of two planes. Since we are talking firstly about the motivation of the staff, and secondly about the direction of managing the socio-economic development of the staff or the enterprises, which are considered as two spheres, within which such an interesting second dimensional topic was formed. I would like to add the staff motivation is not only abstract in this work, but using the example of the enterprises in the branches of the national economy of China, the priority direction of the socio-economic development of the staff were determined within the framework of the development of China's state policy as a strategic direction. Therefore, all this adds even greater relevance, significance, and timelines of this research. This is confirmed by the fact that the globalization and integration of the world community led the selection of new priorities for the socio-economic development of the state and determine the latest trends in the management of the socio-economic development of enterprise personnel. At the same time, the course of management to ensure the efficiency of enterprise remains unchanged, and only the management of socio-economic development of enterprise personnel can be such a tool to ensure the efficiency of enterprises activity. Thank you, Mao Jun, for opponent. I am satisfied with you.
Okay, thank you, Anna. Yeah, we
Yeah,
understand what you want to
дякую.
say. In my opinion, I want to say thank you to scientific supervisor Tatiana Harchenko to invite me to be head of the council, constant council. And also I want to say a few sentences in support of both the topic, scientific research. I write the main points, the relevant of the topic is beyond doubt, logical, structure, novelty, practical recommendation. I was interested in the national novelty of mindful content of concept of educational innovation. But as for me, foreign experience has not been studied. I hope Mao Jun not stopped. I support the dissertation work and vote positive. But dear colleagues, we forgot about our scientific supervisor, Professor Tatiana Harchenko. What she's thinking about it?
Okay, may I say some words? I sincerely thank everyone present for participation in the Specialized Academic Council. The full review as a scientific supervisor in the attestation file, I would like to emphasize on the main points. Mao Jun fully completed the educational and scientific program of the postgraduate course, which corresponds to the procedures of training and of higher educational applicants for the degree of Doctor of Philosophy. Mao Jun acquired theoretical knowledge, abilities, skills, and other competencies sufficient for the production of new ideas, solving complex problems in the field of professional and research innovation activities, mastered the methodological of scientific and pedagogical activities. The relevance of topic is defining features of modern approaches to managing personal development. This is the task of creative implementation into real practice of continuous generation of new knowledge and commercial development, return of capital investment in human resources. Mao Jun was in Ukraine during her first year of graduate school, and she is a responsible, persistent, and hardworking graduate student. In conditions of turbulence, she was always in touch. She successfully combined third motherhood and scientific work. Mao Jun, I wish you further scientific achievement and expand their field of knowledge and experience. I hope for the support of special council and positive feedback. Thank you.
Шановні колеги, пропоную закінчити обговорення. І нами попередньо було розроблено проєкт рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради. Дозвольте його зачитати. Спеціалізована вчена рада Сумського національного аграрного університету Міністерства освіти і науки України міста Суми прийняла рішення щодо присудження ступеня доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування на підставі прилюдного захисту на тему Management of Social Economic Development of Enterprises Personnel. Це англійсько-українською управління соціально-економічним розвитком персоналу підприємств за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Мао Джун, 1983 року народження, громадянка Китайської Народної Республіки, освіта вища, закінчила у 2012 році університет Чжэнчжоу легкої промисловості, місце Чжэнчжоу, Китайська Народна Республіка, за спеціальністю ідеологічне та політичне виховання та за спеціальністю права. Аспірантура закінчила у 2023 році Сумський національний аграрний університет Міністерства освіти і науки міста Суми. Дисертацію виконана в Сумському національному аграрному університеті Міністерства освіти і науки. Тема дисертації затверджена на засіданні вченої ради Сумського національного аграрного університету Протокол номер 6 від 22 грудня 2019 року. Мао Жун завершила виконання освітньо-наукової програми 2023 році. 16 червня 2023 року відбулася публічна презентація дисертаційного дослідження на кафедрі менеджменту імені професора Любові Івановни Михайлової за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент, де дисертацію було рекомендовано до розгляду та захисту у разовій спеціалізованій вченій раді. Основні наукові положення та результати досліджень за темою дисертації опубліковано у 16 наукових працях, з них одна стаття опублікована у науково-періодичних виданнях Організації економічного співробітництва та розвитку країн, які включені до науково-метричної бази даних Scopus, 4 статті у фахових наукових виданнях України категорії Б, 11 тез в матеріалах наукових конференцій. Переходимо до процедури відкритого голосування. Прошу членів спеціалізованої вченої ради проголосувати і озвучити рішення щодо присудження Мао Жун ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент. Зверніть увагу, я, Стоянець Наталія, голосую за. Наступна, Кліцова Наталія Володимирівна.
Я, Кліцова Наталя Володимирівна, голосую за.
Так. Могильна Людмила Миколаївна.
Я, Могильна Людмила Миколаївна, голосую за присудження наукового ступеня доктора філософії зі спеціальності 073 менеджмент Мао Жун.
Дякую. Козак Катерина Богданівна.
Я, Козак Катерина Богданівна, голосую за присудження PhD Мао Жун за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент.
Дякую. Шестакова Анна Валерівна.
Я, Шестакова Анна Валерівна, голосую за присудження доктора філософії з менеджменту 073 Мао Жун.
Так, проти немає, 5 голосів за. На підставі результатів відкритого голосування спеціалізована вчена рада присуджує Мао Жун ступінь доктора філософії з галузі знань 07 управління та адміністрування за спеціальністю 073 менеджмент. Чи є зауваження щодо рішення спеціалізованої вченої ради? Зауважень немає. Дозвольте привітати Мао Жун з успішним захистом дисертації. Let me congratulate on you on successful defense. The specialized academic council has awarded you the degree of Doctor of Philosophy in specialty 073 Management. Would you like to say some words, Mao Jun?
Thank you. Today is an unforgettable day. This is an all-important moment in my 4-year PhD career. First of all, I would like to express my heartfelt thanks to my supervisor, Tatiana. The completion of this thesis has been strongly supported by my supervisor, and she has given careful guidance and help in the whole process. I would also like to thank all the professors who taught me during the PhD program. Secondly, I would like to thank my family, my parents-in-law, my husband, and my children. In addition, I would like to thank my friends and classmates. Finally, I would like to thank all the reviewers and members of the Defense Committee. Your valuable suggestions will help me improve my research. I am so grateful to all those who have guided and helped me. I wish you all good health, good luck, and much happiness. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. На цьому засідання спеціалізованої вченої ради вважається закритим. Дякую всім за роботу. Дуже було приємно.